What is up, you guys? Today is Wednesday, November 7th, 2018. So I think we're seeing exactly what we should want to be seeing in the market right now. It's been very slow, but very steady, increasing price action for Bitcoin as well as just cryptocurrency in general. So I want to move over to the global total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies here. One thing I want to point out too, so you can see it here on the 1 year, how between roughly 220 billion and 240 has been a very weird spot for cryptocurrency and really hasn't been able to get out of that. So you can see it found support there, the entire market many times over the past few months. You know, back in April in particular, and then back in June we saw it. But when it did break that at the end of July, we were unable to kind of get above that since the end of July essentially. So you can see here, bottoming around 200 billion, fluctuating between about 240 and 220 roughly. So it's been a very tight range there. And again, right now we've seen a little bit of a slowdown right at 220. I do think it's very possible in the short term that we do end up going and breaking above that. And I want to get into a little article about why I think that's possible as well. As for all the news items that I've been talking about for probably months at this point, whether it's backed ETF or anything like that, 2018 obviously has a lot of good stuff in store. And so if you've been following along, you already know why it's very possible. You know, the end of 2018 could actually bring some excitement and some momentum back into the market. But I think right now a really good test is probably getting over 220 billion, 230, and just continuing this overall market climb in terms of price, because it's not necessarily Bitcoin that's been kickstarting this. If you've been following the market, it's been XRP and Bitcoin Cash that kind of started the little run here. You can see it on their 7-day charts, how it kind of is reflected there. And we see other coins making some moves as well, but those are the big coins that are really having nice percentage changes there. This red across the board is not anything to really be too mindful of. It's about 1 to 2% max of the top cryptos down. So basically just holding steady there. Bitcoin's up about 1%. So it is looking good. So this article was posted about an hour ago by Josiah Wilmoth. It's titled here, Santa Claus Rally, Why Bitcoin is Primed for a Christmas Surprise. So the article begins here nearly 11 months into a bear market that has seen the Bitcoin price take a 2/3 haircut from its all-time high. The flagship cryptocurrency could be on the verge of a year-end rally. Greenspan, a senior market analyst at eToro, has been watching for a Bitcoin breakout for some time, as well as many of us have been waiting and watching. Really, the bear market has been the entirety of 2018. And he said in a market commentary made available to CCN that there are early indications that cryptocurrencies could see a Santa Claus rally heading into the new year. So he's quoted here as saying, Greenspan is quoted as saying, in traditional markets, it's very common to see a stock rally leading up to the end of the year due to the increased activity in the private sector during the holidays. It may be too early to say this. After all, we've only seen very moderate crypto gains this week, but it is very possible that we might see a Santa Claus rally in the crypto markets. And again, keep in mind that there are plenty of news items that could be in play in terms of how it could affect the market. Granted, news has not been doing much for the price lately, but I mean, at some point that has to end. Not saying it guaranteed will in 2018, but it's possible. Notably, Greenspan identified the looming Bitcoin Cash hard fork as the catalyst for this rally, noting that the Bitcoin Cash price had exploded in advance of the November 15th fork, which seems likely to split the network into multiple competing versions. So he has these quotes here. The gains are being led by Bitcoin Cash ahead of the hard fork next week. It's kind of funny to see that after all the sideways movement, a possible breakout could come from a disagreement in the Bitcoin Cash community of all places. He said, in any case, the fire doesn't usually care where the spark comes from. Upward momentum has a way of snowballing in financial markets, no matter what the drivers of the momentum have originally been. So I definitely agree with that, and I think that's a really good point there. It doesn't matter, you know, I know many of you guys are not fans of Bitcoin Cash, myself included, right? But again, it doesn't really matter where the spark for the entire market comes from. It can come from anywhere, and it can benefit the entire market, even if, you know, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin holders don't see eye to eye all the time. It doesn't matter at all. The spark could come from any cryptocurrency, and it could really get the market started. Even as, you know, as he says right here, upward momentum has a way of snowballing in financial markets, no matter the drivers. And on a similar note as well, I think that downward momentum has a way of snowballing. And again, I think that's what we've seen this entire year so far, but that's going to change at some point. But you see a ton of bullish news that would be skyrocketing the price if that news was announced at the end of 2017, do nothing in 2018. You know, that same news doesn't do anything for the price as it would have done back in 2017 at the very beginning of 2018 as well. but I think that's going to change soon. And even if it's not soon, that has to change eventually. That's the only way the market can get back on track here. So Greenspan's tempered bullish outlook is that Bitcoin needs a strong breakout above its 200-day moving average, which is currently sitting at 7,000 roughly, to truly put the bear trend in a rearview mirror. So we still have about $500, actually a little bit less than that, maybe around 400, depending on what exchange you're using, until we kind of get up to that point, and then probably have to retest it for support and see if that's actually a legitimate milestone to break through there. And he is not the only analyst saying that there are some really good technical indicators. Earlier this week, Bloomberg reported that Bitcoin's directional movement index, or DMI, entered a bullish phase, and that its price trends have been broken out of their Vera band upper limit. As well, there's divergence on the MACD here. And yeah, just a lot of positive indicators as well. I've actually been watching a few technical analysts over the past week, and they seem very bullish as well, so I tend to agree with them. And as always, guys, I do think it's important to, even if you don't like technical analysis for whatever reason, there's a reason that it exists. It does work. Maybe not 100% of the time, but it's useful to say the least. And I wanted to end on this article by Mary Hewlett. 2 pro-crypto candidates score wins. Actually, at the time of recording this, Jeff Sessions he had just resigned, I believe. So if you guys have a comment about that, I don't want to get too much into politics, but I'm kind of curious what that might entail since we're kind of talking about it very briefly in this article. So the Democrat contender Gavin Newsom sealed 59%, and he apparently brought crypto into the political party scene as early as 2014 when he became one of the first high-profile politicians to accept campaign donations in Bitcoin. That's something cool. I didn't actually know that until I found this article. Apparently, the Winklevoss twins donated to him roughly 120,000 US dollars in Bitcoin. And as well, Democrat Jared Polis won last night, and he had a BitPay campaign donation page that accepted Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash as well, and his campaign website for the midterm elections contained an entire page devoted to blockchain policy, his blockchain policy, outlining 5 areas in which he intends to explore the technology. So that's really cool. 2 people won last night who are in favor of cryptocurrency and who support it, and they actually have some detailed information and guidelines on what their policies on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular would be. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Hopefully we see more people in government and politics that support cryptocurrency. Again, we don't really see too much negativity in general from people in government, aside from a very, very few minority who tend to make their voice seem as though there's a lot of people who oppose it. There's really not that many. So it should be exciting to see if that's a trend that continues. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that we could see a very bullish final 2 months to 2018? Leave a comment below. I definitely think it's possible. I don't think it's guaranteed by any means, but there's so much going on. The timing is very peculiar. I feel as though these last 2 months could really shock a lot of people. It could be the opposite as well, and nothing could happen. but it's very possible that, especially with these early signs that we're seeing, it's very possible that something exciting does happen. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.